Well, hello again, and welcome to a new episode of Selling Point. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I'll just call hit and run selling. And to make that point, let me go back and tell you a true story that happened to me as the customer. My wife and I had downsized a few years ago, and we had a small home, a little 2-bedroom, 2-bath kind of thingy. Downsized home built in an HOA community for 55 and over folks, so we fit right in. And so it's nice. It was we've been very pleased with it. But one thing we found out real quick is that what builder's grade means. The first time we had a thunderstorm, we found right quick that the water rushing off of the sunroom and into the patio and that area out there was making a mess. And so I knew we were going to have to do something about a gutter system. And so I looked around a little bit, did a little research, and placed a call to a company. And I got a voicemail of a fellow by the name of Elton. And so I left my message to him that I needed him to give me an estimate and et cetera. And gosh, it was just very few minutes later that he called, very polite man, and he was just nice as he could be, and said, certainly I could be there in the morning. And so we set an appointment to come the next morning, and he said he would need to come out and obviously measure, how many corners we had and how many downspouts and all that sort of gutter jargon. And so he did. He came out and worked up an estimate for me and all the materials that would be necessary, and didn't take him very long to do. And he presented that to me, and I was really pleased right off the bat because that was several $100s less than what I anticipated for the research that I had done. And so I decided in my head right then that there wasn't any sense in calling anybody else. I liked the looks of this guy. He had a few wrinkles and some gray hair, so I knew it wasn't his first rodeo. And so I told him, I said, okay, well, good. I want you to do the work. And he said, well, I just need to tell you that, we're busy. And so he said, it's going to be 2 weeks before I can get here. And so that's okay. And so we set up a date 2 weeks from that time. And he said, we'll be here at 8 o'clock that morning. And he said, I'll give you a call the night before and confirm. And I thought, well, that's great customer service. Everybody doesn't do that. And sure enough, 2 weeks rolled around, and the night before he was to be here, he called and confirmed and said that we'll be there at 8 o'clock. Well, in my world, I've been in sales and customer service for a long, long time, and I know that usually there are windows of time, 8 to 10 or a.m. or p.m., and that's not what the guy said. He said, we'll be there at 8 o'clock. Well, I was totally shocked, even though he said that at 8 a.m. straight up, the guy and his crew rolled up. And so they jumped out, went to work under Elton's watchful eye, and they scurried around there and did a wonderful job. They picked up all of their scraps and all this. By the time they finished up and left, it was kind of like it never happened. And the gutters looked good. It matched the exterior of the fascia board and all that around there. And I was just real pleased just taking a look at it. And so he just very quickly, he was a man of few words, and very quickly he said that they needed to get going. And so he shook my hand and jumped in the truck, and just like that, they were gone. Now, they finished earlier than what I thought. They were all, the workers were consistently working. They weren't hanging around smoking cigarettes, wasting time, spitting, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just really cool. So before I even went back in the house after they left, one of my neighbors rolled up on his golf cart, and he said, "Woo, man, those things look better than the ones I had installed last year." He said, "Who did that?" And I told him, and And so we went on. But the crux of the story and what I want you to get out of this that's hopefully going to make some sense to you on this topic of hit and run selling is those guys from a customer service perspective, they did excellent work. They were on time. They worked fast. They didn't leave a mess. All of those wonderful things that you expect that go along with good customer service. But the wheels fell off of that process when Elton jumped back in his truck and they took off. Because here's the things that he didn't do. Here's the things that he didn't say or ask of me. He didn't ask if I was satisfied. He didn't ask for a referral. He didn't ask for a testimonial. He didn't ask for me to introduce him to my neighbors. He didn't ask me to complete a survey. He didn't say, let's give it a few weeks till we have the next thunderstorm, and then I'll come by and do a QA, and we'll make sure that everything is buttoned up properly. He didn't ask for a Google review or any of the other things nowadays that could provide you some additional customers. And you know as well as I do in sales, it's you never get enough leads. You've always got to do some processing yourself in terms of prospecting and looking for additional customers. But he walked away without doing any of those things that would have helped him to sell by multiplication instead of selling by addition. Because when he left my house, he had to turn around and have another new person that he had to start out from scratch all over again and go through the process. And so, the last thing that he said to me is, I'd love to stand around and talk to you for a few minutes, but we got 5 more jobs to do today, and we are so busy. Well, sooner or later, that so busy runs out if you're not trying to sell by multiplication and if you're not trying to get referrals, testimonials, all these other things that we know we should do, but in many cases, salespeople don't do because either they're lazy, they just don't take the time to do it, they feel sheepish about it, any number of things. But I can just tell you from the little development where I live, out of 40, 50 houses that were right here, and all basically same type of construction, that he could have very easily come up with a handful of people that would have ended up doing business with him. And so that's the message that I want to leave you with today, is that if you want to learn how to sell by multiplication, and by that I simply mean by having your customers help you find more customers instead of selling by addition, where you've got to just go and find a prospect one at a time, whether it's a lead or self-generated, and work through that process. If you're going to plan on a career in sales and going to plan on being around for a long time, you better learn how to do those things that we just mentioned in order to get your customers to help you along the way. So until next time, this is Doug with Selling Point. And again, don't forget RobinsonTrainingSolutions.com. Take a stroll through the website, see if you find anything you're interested in.